Well honey, grab your tea because the Courtroom is the hottest new reality show, and the star, Sean Diddy Combs. But this isn't a music video, and the only awards being handed out are prison sentences. The drama hit a new high on June 5, 2025, when Diddy almost got himself kicked right out of his own trial. Can you believe the nerve? He was sitting there listening to a witness and started staring down the jury. Not just a glance, mind you. He was making direct eye contact, nodding his head like he was approving the next big hit. But the only thing he was hitting was a nerve with the judge. Judge Aaron Subramanian was not having it. Not one bit. He stopped everything. He looked right at Diddy and his lawyers and laid down the law. He said, and I quote, that Diddy's little performance was absolutely inappropriate. You don't play games with a federal judge, sweetie. The judge warned him that if he tried to influence that jury one more time, he would be watching the rest of this mess from a separate room. Imagine that. The bad boy of hip-hop, sent to a timeout corner by a man in a black robe. The tension in that room was so thick you could cut it with a diamond-encrusted knife. This all went down during the testimony of Brianna Bongolan, who was on the stand accusing Diddy of an assault from back in 2016. The courtroom was packed, of course. Everybody wants a front row seat to see a mogul's empire crumble. Diddy, dressed to the nines as always, seemed to forget he wasn't in a boardroom making deals. He was in a courtroom fighting for his life. This little moment, this slip of the mask, showed everyone just how high the stakes are. He's trying to control every little thing, even the minds of the jurors. But in this room, honey, he's not the one in charge. Not anymore. The whole scene was just chaotic. It set the tone for what has become a circus of accusations and denials. Diddy's mother, Janice, and his son Justin were right there, watching it all unfold. You have to wonder what they're thinking. Is he their hero, or is he a man they no longer recognize? The judge's warning was a clear message to everyone. This trial is serious business. Diddy can nod all he wants, but the only thing the jury should be listening to is the evidence. And believe me, the evidence that came next was an absolute bombshell. It was a story so wild it makes a rap beef look like a tea party. Now, let's talk about the government's star witness. She's known only as Jane, a name to protect her, but her story is screaming from the rooftops. Her testimony was explosive, honey. It was the kind of stuff that makes your jaw drop to the floor. She told the court about her life with Diddy, which she said started back in 2020. She described these things called hotel nights or, get this, freak-offs. Just the name alone tells you this is not your average night in. She claimed Diddy would force her into these long, grueling sessions lasting 24 to 30 hours straight. Can you even imagine? According to Jane, these weren't romantic evenings. Oh no. She testified that she was forced to have sex with multiple men while Diddy watched. Sometimes he would even film it. She said they would go through as many as 24 bottles of baby oil in a single night. 24 bottles. That detail alone paints a picture so vivid it's chilling. She was paid for these encounters, but she made it clear this wasn't a choice. It was a requirement. It was part of the price of being in Diddy's world. A world that, from the outside, looked like pure glamour, but on the inside, she says, was a nightmare. Jane's testimony went even deeper into the control she alleges Diddy had over her. It wasn't just about the freak-offs. She said he controlled every part of her life. He dictated how she wore her hair, the color of her nails, even her tan. He dressed her, managed her time, and held the purse string so tightly she couldn't breathe without his permission. She was like a doll in his twisted dollhouse. He was the puppet master and she was forced to dance to his tune. The jury sat there completely silent, hanging on her every word. You could hear a pin drop. The emotional toll of her testimony was written all over her face. She spoke about how this man, who presented himself as a mentor and a powerful figure, allegedly broke her down piece by piece. Her story is the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. They are painting Diddy not as an icon, but as a predator who used his fame and fortune to exploit and abuse young women. Jane's detailed, shocking account of the freak-offs and the suffocating control is meant to show the jury a pattern of behavior. It's meant to prove that this was not a consensual relationship, but a calculated system of trafficking and abuse. If you thought it couldn't get any juicier, you are wrong. Dead wrong. Because money and power were the tools Diddy allegedly used to build his cage. Jane testified that Diddy kept her financially chained to him. She told the court she wanted to start an OnlyFans account to make her own money, to have some independence, but Diddy allegedly shut that down immediately. Why? The prosecution says it's because he needed her completely dependent on him. He paid her rent, he paid her bills, and he would wire her thousands of dollars, sometimes up to $20,000. But that money wasn't a gift, honey. It was a leash. And then there are the drugs. Oh, the drugs. Jane claimed that Diddy was the one who introduced her to a toxic cocktail of substances. We're talking cocaine, ketamine, and ecstasy. She said they would use them every time they met. This wasn't just recreational partying, the prosecution argues it was a weapon. It was a way to lower her inhibitions, to make her more compliant, to blur the lines of consent until they disappeared completely. It's a classic tactic of control, get your victim hooked and you own them. Her testimony painted a dark picture of drug-fueled nights that spiraled into abuse. But the most sinister allegation of all, blackmail. According to prosecutors, Diddy didn't just film these encounters for his own viewing pleasure. He used those explicit videos as a threat. He allegedly held them over Jane's head to make sure she never spoke out, to guarantee her silence. She testified that he violently choked and kicked her, and when she thought about leaving or telling someone, the fear of those tapes being leaked kept her quiet. It's the ultimate form of control, using someone's most private moments against them. It's sick, and it's a key part of the racketeering charges he's facing. This combination of financial dependency, substance abuse, and blackmail is the prosecution's smoking gun. They are arguing that this wasn't just a bad romance, it was a criminal enterprise. Diddy wasn't just a boyfriend, he was a boss, and his business was allegedly exploiting women. Each detail Jane provided, the bank wires, the specific drugs, the threat of the videos, adds another brick to the wall of evidence they are building around him. The prosecution is trying to show the jury that Diddy created a system where escape was nearly impossible, a system designed to serve one person and one person only, himself. Now Diddy isn't just sitting there taking it. Of course not. He has pleaded not guilty to everything: sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. If he's convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. So his defense team is coming out swinging. Their strategy? To tear down the credibility of the witnesses, especially Jane and Cassie Ventura. They are trying to paint these relationships not as criminal, but as consensual. They're arguing that yes, they were toxic, yes, they were unorthodox, but they were not crimes. They are trying to turn this into a he said, she said soap opera. But honey, it's not just one she who is saying it. This trial is just the tip of a massive iceberg of legal trouble for Diddy. Ever since Cassie Ventura dropped her bombshell lawsuit back in November 2023, the floodgates have opened. It's like a dam broke, and now a tsunami of allegations is crashing down on him. As of May 2025, more than 80 people have filed sexual assault lawsuits against him. While some have settled, a staggering 78 of those lawsuits are still active. 78! That's not a coincidence, sweetie, that's a pattern. A very, very disturbing pattern. The trial itself is a spectacle. The courtroom is filled with a bizarre mix of spectators, high-profile family members, and a heavy cloud of emotion. You have Diddy's mother Janice looking on with a pained expression. You have his son Justin trying to be a pillar of support. There have been outbursts from the gallery, intense staring matches, and lawyers objecting at every turn. It's pure chaos. The pressure is immense, not just on Diddy, but on everyone in that room. Every word, every tear, every piece of evidence is being scrutinized by the world. This isn't just a trial, it's the public dissection of a legend. So, what's next? The trial rages on, and every day brings a new shocking revelation. The prosecution continues to call witnesses, each one adding another layer to the story of Diddy's alleged secret life. The defense continues to fight back, trying to poke holes in their stories. But with the weight of so many accusations and the seriousness of the federal charges, the future looks bleak for the man who once called himself the King of New York. The question on everyone's mind is no longer, what did Diddy do, but how will it all end? And honey, we are all watching. How you doing?